I knew I wanted to work in the home health realm because you get to work really closely with families versus other settings where you don't interact much with families. I knew I wanted to interact with families, get to know families, and then also be able to help those that are from the same areas that I'm from, so bilingual families and Hispanic families. For my grad program, I had to do 400 hours of clinical work. So I worked at the schools, I worked at clinics, and then I did a little bit of home health. So I got to see a little bit of all the different settings within speech therapy. But I think home health really, I don't want to say stole my heart, but sort of took me away in that I get to work closely with families. A typical day, I would say, is about 6 to 7 clients. On a really long day, maybe 8. It just depends. You sort of make it what you want it to, and that's the other nice thing about home health. You start when you want to and you end when you want to, and you just have a set goal for the week of how many clients you want to see. I like to see clients back to back, that way I can get home right away. Some people like to have a gap in the middle of the day for lunch and notes. It just depends on the individual person, how organized they are, and how many clients they want to do. Me and Ben, we have a good relationship. We play a lot of games, so he's very motivated by participating in games. And so when we're playing a game between turns, that's when we focus on the skills that we're working on. And I do like to pay attention to how he's feeling, or if he looks like something is a little bit harder for him, we discuss how he's feeling about the skill. We also take it back to doing something a bit easier for him, so to build that confidence. He tells me flat out when he doesn't want to do something, and I'm okay. Let's pivot. I always have to have something in my bag or in my back pocket about like what we're gonna do next, because he's very much like, I'm not gonna do that, and like, you're not gonna make me do that. So I know what to expect with him, and I appreciate that with him, and I think that's a good skill to have, especially as he grows and becomes an adult, like being able to tell people no, especially as someone with disabilities. And so I always like to instill that skill or that ability in the kids that I work with, is to self-advocate, and he's got that down. He's been a pleasure to work with, and him and his family are awesome. And Mom especially watches what I do with him and asks questions, and I can provide her feedback about like what she can do to cue him, especially when depending on the goals that we're working on. They're great working with the schedule. Like if they have things that come up, we can reschedule. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes people cancel last minute or things come up. And with them, it's very much like we know ahead of time, we can plan ahead of time. And they're also very involved. So part of therapy that's super important is carryover. So if I'm the only one doing therapy, it doesn't really work. Because they're so involved in his care and super involved in helping him, I think a lot of the skills that we work on, he does so good because his family is so involved.
Ben has experienced a lot of challenges in his life, and right from the beginning, he's experienced a lot of delays. And so honestly, having the support and the help of therapists has been a huge blessing for our family. It's funny because we actually see our therapists more than we see some members of our family, because they're in our homes, they're in our house every week. And they have really just helped him to become what he is today. And there's just no way he would have reached the milestones that he has been able to. There's no way he would have made as much progress as he has without the love and the support and the help of really dedicated people, really dedicated therapists. They have just made all the difference, and I'm so grateful. Our family is so grateful. It's just so amazing as a mom to watch him do things that are hard. I mean, therapy is not easy. He's doing things that are challenging for him, but they always do it in such a way that is motivating for him. They're great about taking his interests into account and adjusting maybe their plan that they had to make it interesting and fun for him. And so therapy has never been an issue for him. He always loves going, and the results are just incredible.
So I love a care option for kids. My supervisor, because I'm a clinical fellow, I have a supervisor. She's been amazing. The onboarding process, that was an entire day of learning like the systems and learning the processes, and then doing the ride-alongs, getting to know the clinicians on the team and how they do things. That was super helpful. And then going back to my supervisor, she's been amazing and helpful throughout this entire process, just going to her when I feel like I didn't do something right or something was wrong, like having her to be like, no, that's totally fine, it's okay. And I know that a Care Option for Kids has mentors, so when you do start with the company, even if you're not a clinical fellow, you have that person that you can text and get some feedback from. Because the other thing with being in home health, you're by yourself in here. Sometimes you get to co-treat, but there's no other clinician where you can bounce ideas off of. But I think that component of having that mentor, that supervisor to bounce ideas and ask questions is super helpful. I think if you're looking for a change of pace, like more interactions with families and working more closely with individuals one-on-one, this company provides the flexibility and the clientele too. Like my schedule filled up right away when I started. I didn't have to wait, because that also affects pay. If you're sitting with an empty caseload and you're not getting paid, like that also affects it. So being able to have reliable clients, have reliable staff that's helping fill your schedule how you want it to be based on the hours that you provide them, I would say totally go for it, because it's been great for me, so I would recommend it.